All right. Thanks everybody for being here. We'll call the meeting to order. It is 2:36. Avi is also joining us. Great. Haven't seen him in a minute. All right. We've got a lot on this agenda, so we're going to try to, we've got some suggested times on here for each item. So we can go ahead and kick it off with public comment, I guess. Whoever wants to start can go ahead and unmute, or maybe we should reintroduce everybody first, because I think we've got some folks that missed the last meeting. So that being the case, my name is Cindy Plant, Program Manager for Devon, SSA 43 at Rogers Park Business Alliance. Sandy?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sandy Price. I'm the Executive Director of the Rogers Park Business Alliance, and we are the sole service provider for SSA 43.
Pete Valavani's Commissioner.
Avi Borogliani, Commissioner.
I'm Sanita Agnihotri, Commissioner.
Mohammed Junaid, SSA Commissioner.
All right, that's it, everybody. What's here? No.
What's going
I'm not calling people more. Are you introduce yourself?
Oh, I'm sorry. I see people's face, like people moving, but I couldn't tell if they're talking. I'm Maura Nemes, Commissioner.
Ellen?
Can you?
Yes, hello. I'm Ellen Dappelt. I am the Executive Director of the Jewish Neighborhood Development Council of Chicago.
Nita?
Hello, everyone. My name is Nida Hassan. I'm a constituent of the 50th Ward, and I work with the Indo-American Center.
And Hallie?
Hi, Hallie Quesada. I live here in the 50th and run Westridge Community Response Team. And Cassandra just texted she's on her way. She said 5 minutes.
Okay. And Ward 50?
Hi, I'm Yisrael Shapiro, Alderman Silverstein's staff. She should be on soon. She's still in a city council committee meeting on Zoom. So as soon as that's done, she should come on in.
Thanks, Israel. All right, Cindy, I think that's everybody.
All right. Oops. Am I unmuted?
Yes.
Yes, I am. All right. All right. Any other public comment?
Yeah, I have a public comment. Thank you. Do I just begin?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, cool. I wasn't sure if there was like an order or something. So thank you for having us back. I could tell that there was some discomfort with my comments at the last meeting being political, and I recognize that I made some assumptions and do apologize if they were wrong. I also feel it might be helpful to share where the assumptions came from and why we felt it relevant to share with all of you, because we do trust you to handle our tax dollars for the district fairly, and being fully informed can help benefit everyone. So again, I'm sharing in an effort to be helpful and explain, sort of where those assumptions came from, and recognize too that our proposal now really has nothing to do with me or Alderman Silverstein. It's a robust and smart proposal to increase revenue for the Devon Business District while helping the community that surrounds it. And what better way to get people shopping than to ensure they aren't worrying about where their next meal will come from. So our concern when we first brought it to you was that it could be viewed unfavorably because I'm involved in it. And the alderman had already spoken at one of your meetings cautioning against work that I was involved in. And she is the alderman and many of you are business owners. So we know there's a power dynamic there, but we aren't privy to the behind the scenes to really understand those intricacies. So what we did was we read the meeting minutes for all of 2020, and we really do appreciate the work you do and the thoughtfulness that you put into the work you do. From the minutes, there's an appearance that she has power here, and really we don't know how these things run or operate or what's typical. But we did see that she's always present and she speaks outside of public comment, even though she's not a commissioner. And
So
she
Hallie, I'm sorry, can I ask you to just keep your comments to the actual proposal and not the way this commission handles proposals?
I actually don't think you're allowed to tell me what I could say in my public comment.
Well, I can ask you to not be political in your public comments, and I think you're going back to being political in your public comments.
No, I'm trying to tell you as respectfully as you can, as I don't know how to, you actually can't tell me what, like, everything's political. You guys handle our tax dollars. And again, like, no one said that to Alderman Silverstein when she cautioned against a proposal outside of public comment because I ran against her. So I'm trying to share with you why we said anything in the first place, because we did feel from reading your minutes, not like from anywhere else, from reading your minutes, from seeing how she, marketed work that you guys in the Westridge Chamber did. You did so much work, and we read that in your minutes, but we were shocked because we saw for months that she said it came from her office. So it looked like from the minutes that she had power. So we did feel it relevant to make sure you all were aware, right, of our history of trying to allow her to work with us and give her a platform in the work that we were doing. And also to make sure that you had an opportunity for an unbiased evaluation of our proposal because of what we read in the minutes, that she cautioned against working with us because I was involved. And then money went unspent at the end of the year in an awful pandemic, instead of trying to find creative ways to use it to help the district and people. So again, it was never meant to be an attack on anyone, but a clarification in a response to her comments in that November meeting. And a reminder that, if doing something is political, not doing something is political. So she has no weight in your votes. I really do apologize for assuming she did. And I don't know how complicated it is or it isn't. I really only have the minutes to go on. So I do also urge you to enforce the boundaries that are enforced with other non-commissioners regarding participation, so that there is clarity in the future. And we sincerely hope for an opportunity to start fresh with you all in partnership on this proposal brought to you today. And we really believe in innovation inspired by mutual aid work in our neighborhood, combined with your knowledge of the district. It could lead to something really great. It could, and we hope that you give us that opportunity to work together.
Thank you, Hallie.
All right.
What's
Anyone
next?
else for public comment? Going once, going twice.
Sorry, this is Sarah Stigberg. Hallie, I'm here. I just popped in, just checking in to see if there was anything you needed me to add.
Yeah, if you want to just give a brief pitch.
Sure. I don't want to repeat anything you've said though, and I apologize for coming in so late. I was in a class.
I just clarified, I know that there was concern about my comments being political last time, so I just wanted to clarify for the commissioners, what the background of those comments was, where it came from. So if you wanted to just say a little bit about the project, that would be great, the proposal.
I can totally do that. So let me just get my notes here. Okay, so let's see. I am also with Hallie, a member of the Westridge Community Response Team, and also a neighbor in our area. And let's see, our small businesses have survived a year of the pandemic and are still dealing with decreased and very low patronage. Our families have survived a year of pandemic-induced food and housing insecurity and the loss of in-person schooling, the traditional center of community supports for many. In response to the needs in our community, neighbors like myself have joined forces to stitch together supports, and like Hallie, to stitch together supports to help our neighbors. We've formed a team of dozens who fundraise, take calls to our hotline, and additionally use our homes in our free time to help everyone that we can. We do this work because we want to live in a community that thrives, and because we want to alleviate suffering in our neighborhood. We want to help people out as much as we possibly can. So that's why we're here. So we're asking you to join us in doing what we can to help the community thrive. So we are asking for the SSA to purchase $30,000 worth of goods and to stock our newly established community fridge and pantry with necessary dry items and fresh foods. All items in the pantry and fridge are free and available to anyone who needs them. In addition, we've seen needs for clothing, laundry detergent, cleaning supplies, toiletries, household items like pots and pans and silverware. And so these are things that are requested frequently on our hotline. So what we're suggesting is $10,000 for food staples, excuse me, $15,000 for prepared restaurant food from the Devon corridor, and $3,000 for toiletries and cleaning supplies like laundry detergent, toothpaste, and then, excuse me, another about $2,500 for clothing and household supplies like blankets, dishes, etc. So these are just a proposal, and we're hoping that we can brainstorm with you all on how best to make this happen. You know, as you know, we were hit especially hard during the COVID pandemic, and we've had higher rates of COVID, excuse me, than citywide averages, and highlighting the inequities that we've seen throughout the pandemic along racial and ethnic lines. And so we have made a significant impact over the last year, but there's still a lot more to do. And we hope that you will join with us in providing some additional funds so that we can put that money back into the community through giving some of the money to local businesses such as grocery stores and restaurants. And then that will also go back into the community in other ways by feeding people in the neighborhood. So as Hallie mentioned, we hope that you will work with us on this. We hope to brainstorm and to talk more about it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We don't have anyone else teed up for public comment. I'll kick it to commissioners if somebody wants to make a motion to approve minutes. Everyone should have gotten a copy on Friday, commissioners. It was in the email where agenda was sent out.
A motion to approve.
I second.
All in favor?
All in
Yeah.
favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anita.
All right, thanks. First up under old business, we do have the Westridge Community Response Team proposal that was sent out again in the Friday email as well. So I'll open that up to discussion for commissioners.
Oh boy. Suppose I could start. We are discussing the WRCRT proposal, correct?
Correct.
While frankly, it's difficult to approve this because the presentation was very difficult and uncomfortable, but Nevertheless, I do agree with the agenda. And I do agree that there's plenty of money that we could allocate towards something like this, which I don't think is a bad idea at all. So that's why I like it. It's unfortunate how it came up, but regardless, I think it's a great program. And also we'll look good doing it. So anyway, so I want to vote on this proposal.
Is there Shaz? I like, no, I think we need to discuss more before we put motions out on the table. If we don't mind, guys, can we have each person speak what they think, and then we can just try to get like a roundabout of what's the plus and minus of it. It's a big dollar amount, one, and I think some of the items they're asking for, it doesn't make sense to buy on Devon. Maybe, you know, a wholesale supplier might be a better venue for that rather than buying it from stores. And I'm like, they mentioned toiletries and stuff like that. Why would you buy them on Devon? That's a questionable thing. Maybe Sam's Club or Costco might be a better option. So anybody else have any comments on the proposal? And where would they, you know, where would they host this? Would this be held in the Devon SSA area? Or, I mean, from the pictures, it looked like it was like Warren Park and then Indo-American Center, which are both not in our SSA.
So we would purchase those toiletries and things. You know, they have the little shops that sell like pots and pans and toiletries inside things. We would purchase it from the Devon SSA district to support that district or to support the businesses in the district, and then also try and drive more people to those businesses that maybe have also been hit by the pandemic. And again,
Rashad, are you asking Hallie those questions, or are you? Because if you're not asking Hallie those questions, the public comment section is over. So
yeah, no, I'm not asking the questions. I'm just bringing it for discussion. I mean, I think between us, as I say, we did a couple others where I think we, when we did, it's just a discussion item. I'm not asking for answers. I apologize, Haley, if I made that unclear. The point is, we went and passed out gloves and sanitizer to all the businesses to help during the pandemic, and we bought them wholesale, even though there were places that sold them on Devon, but we went to a wholesaler and bought in bulk quantity to save the SSA money and to have more product to give out. So we're brainstorming how we can make this work better for you and save everybody money. So.
On a few occasions, we did buy from the businesses on Devon, I think, the gloves and whatnot.
We sourced it from him, but yeah, he's a wholesaler and does this too. Yeah, you are correct, Avi.
So he did make money on it, I'm hoping.
So does our mandate, that's what I want to make clear. And I know we did this before with the first responders, something similar. I don't know, maybe we were wrong then too. I mean, if this is our mandate, I don't see a problem.
No, we bought from our businesses on Devon, Pete. We didn't do anything wrong. We bought food from restaurants, and we ordered the supplies through Overseas Electronics, and he's on, Devon.
So then it's doable then, right? I mean, it's something we can do.
Yeah, but you don't want to spend double the money to buy products because you're supporting a business on Devon where you can get it for half that price from a wholesaler. That's what we got to figure out.
Why?
Why?
Because we're spending money here locally, so it doesn't matter if we spend a little more.
Well, you can buy bulk toilet paper and paper towels from a supplier. Why would you go buy 4 packs from a place in Devon? Maybe we can work out some arrangement with the same supplier.
But yeah, fair. I mean, whatever's allowed, that's fine. If we're allowed to buy from a supplier, then we could do that. So
yeah, we've got suppliers in the district. Like I said, there's more logistics to this than to just say, okay, let's go ahead and move in. And how much food are you going to buy?
That's a good point. You're right. Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's way more.
As much as I don't want to drag it out, I think we need to just have, get what they're looking for specifically, and then reach out to our suppliers and see what we can do to help on a larger scale, maybe, instead of buying, so many quantities for this price, maybe do a larger amount. But I think we need some more homework on this before we decide on what to do. That's my opinion.
I have a question. I'm sorry, I was not here past few meetings. I know I wasn't part of these meetings, but is this falling under charity? What is this falling under? I mean, this Devon SSA is to help businesses mostly. So where did this come that we're providing stuff to people or become a charity organization where there are already, the city is giving out boxes of food through Kids Care and Kiwi Kids and whatnot to anybody that could pick up weekly or whatever it is. So how did that come to be?
Yeah, it's a proposal, Avi, that came out. This is not a typical agenda item for us, and it's not in our pro forma stuff to do. This is not a normal SSA item at all. This is just a request.
Why is that okay to spend the businesses' tax dollars that we're supposed to give to businesses to improve their businesses, to give to other organizations or other charities or whatever it is?
That's a fair
good point.
And
Yeah.
but we did it before, so.
But we did it for all. No, it's different, Pete. We did it for ourselves.
Way different.
Yeah,
right.
very different.
How is it different?
I think we have some non-for-profits in our SSA. Maybe we should reach out to them. They're always passing out food and stuff too. There's that Syrian Refugee Center. There's, I think, Helping Hands on California. So there's a couple more that we can reach out to, and maybe we can do a collaborative effort with this group.
Well, that's suggesting then that it's okay to be a charity.
No, I'm saying we're within our guidelines of supporting somebody within our SSA. I don't think WRCRT is in our SSA. So if we're helping them with maybe a collaborative effort with Helping Hands or somebody else that is in need of stuff, maybe this group can work with them, and we can all make a team effort to help the neighborhood. But again, Avi's right. This is not a typical item for an SSA. We're not, unfortunately, but it's not what we do. We're not.
I get it. I want to follow the rules. If the rules say, there's.
We are here for the betterment of the businesses. That's the bottom line. That's it.
Look, whatever the rules say, but again, the point made before, and I think it's important to address, we did buy food and give to first responders.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we bought the food from restaurants in the neighborhood that were struggling, right? So that falls within our criteria. We didn't buy from restaurants outside of the area.
What made it okay then wasn't so much that it was a charity, but that we spent our money in the neighborhood, right? That's what made it okay, correct?
Yes and no. I think it's getting jumbled up a little bit here.
Okay.
I mean, just because something is legal, that doesn't mean we have to go and do it. If there are businesses still in the SSA
that's a different argument. I agree. I'm questioning the legality of it. You can decide
I'm not questioning legality. I'm saying could be 100% legal, but this is not what the SSA was meant to be for.
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, we have I'm not disagreeing. I just don't. What are we here for then? We have this money to spend
to help the businesses,
we're not,
right? It's businesses tax dollar. It's my $36,000 a year that I'm paying for real estate taxes. That's supposed to be help my business and your business.
I would argue we have too much money and we should give it all back because we're not really.
No, we're not using it enough to help businesses.
We're not.
Why should we give it back?
Guys, let's stay on topic. We're getting off topic here, but what we do with our money and the fact that we're not spending it all is definitely a problem. I've discussed this with Sandy and Cindy about coming up with a mid-year plan to say, hey, we need to do this to improve businesses and improve the cleanup and whatnot. We each should come up with some agenda items, but again, this is not the topic right now. We want to limit this. We're past our 5-minute mark.
Okay.
I say we table this. Somebody come up with other suggestions on how we can get these guys involved as a group with something that falls more in our criteria. If we start doing this, this might open a door to every of those. If we have 5 other organizations saying, hey, we're in your SSA, we want $30,000 also, you have the money.
That's a great question.
Yeah, so that we might be doing something that we're not supposed to. I think I'm requesting if Sandy can find out if are we on, running on the thin ice here? Are we stepping outside our boundaries here? Because the next person can do the same thing.
So
Haley, we read the proposal.
What I would say, for me, the one thing that is very different from what we've done in the past is they're asking for a lump sum of money. We've never given an organization a lump sum of money like that.
Yeah.
What we
yeah.
And we have no intention of doing that again.
Well,
Will not. I mean, not if I'm.
what we have done in the past is we have paid the bills. So
Correct.
if the organization were to say to us, we would like to buy however many packages of toilet paper, and we're going to order them from Cool Tube or Ted's or wherever on Devon Avenue, and then they send us the bills and we pay the bills. That's kind of how we've done it in the past, right? When we did the food program, we ordered the food from the restaurants. The food was delivered to first responders, and we went directly and paid the restaurants directly. There was no middleman. So the organization right now is the one that's doing the coordination of everything. And if they, so maybe what we need is to go back to them with how we would like to see it progressed. So Hallie, right, they sent us this proposal, and I'm reading it as they want $10,000 for food and $15,000 for clothing or whatever. Whatever those dollar amounts were, and I don't remember, but maybe what we need to do is go back to them with a counter of how we would like to see the money spent, right? How we would want to, instead of giving them the money, we would like to pay for the toilet paper, whatever. And maybe what we need to come out of this meeting today, so as not to make this really, too long of a process, is maybe what we need to come up with today is you guys need to come up with, the SSA commissioner, what do you want to know, right? So what are your questions? We will go back to Hallie and her group and ask, right? We make a list of questions that we want them to answer for us, instead of, otherwise we're never going to get anything to move forward.
So let's each make a list and email to Cindy and discuss a little bit further and come up with some sort of solution to this, because I think it's opening another door that it might be more of a, we're getting out of our realm of what we're supposed to be doing. We're not here, unfortunately, for this, as much as it's a great idea, great proposal. We want to help the neighborhood, but we got to do it the right way.
Agreed.
So I suggest we table this until you guys come up with suggestions, and we can go back and forth with Haley offline and say, hey, what do you think of this, this, and this, and come up with a list that might work better to fall in our criteria. And we don't want to open this door and say, hey, we're giving non-for-profits money, and it's a great thing to do, but I don't think that's what the SSA is here for.
And in order to keep this moving forward, can we ask the SSA commissioners to send me and Cindy your questions and ideas by Friday?
That's perfect. Is that okay with everybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Start writing them now so we have them done.
Yes.
All right, can we move on to the next thing?
Let's do it.
Lighting replacement.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe do something different. Maybe do some sort of display on one end of Devon and another end of Devon, rather than just replacing lights that we already had. Let's do something that pulls a crowd that wants to go out and take pictures. Can we do something like that on the corner of Western and Devon? Some sort of cool lighting display. I mean, is Scott on the line here with us? Do we know?
He is not. He was out of town this week. So I shared.
I was going to call him. Any you guys got any ideas? Something. I mean, we're too culturally diverse where we can't do like a lit up Christmas tree somewhere, a big one. But something in between, rather than just doing. Can we blanket lights across from pole? We talked about this last time. Like go pole to pole, side to side, rather than doing this if we're replacing lights every 4 or 5 years.
Who are you asking?
Everybody. I'm on like 3 cups of coffee. I'm really wired right now, so I'm not going to stop talking. I'm really sorry. I just had too much going on for a Monday. I personally would like to do something, Skokie had the big snowflakes up in there. I think they were lit up, and that was really cool. Something different. I don't think we should do this, replace the lights. Hey, let's have them flash these colors. Let's do something different. Get creative. I mean, we've got the budget for it, and we need the people to come out just to see it.
We have snowflakes on Howard Street, and last year we also had them on Sheridan Road.
Were they noticeable, Sandy, where people came out to see them or take pictures with them?
I don't know. They were noticeable, yes. They were huge. They were on big chain link fences. Did people?
Were they lit up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there were
Okay,
LED lights, like a bright white, blue, couple other colors, but yeah.
Did anybody come out and take pictures with them? I have no idea.
Not that I'm
Yeah,
aware.
if you guys can send some pictures, or if we can double the size. You know, we want them big where people stop to look at it. We want to stop traffic, or I want to stop traffic.
You don't want to stop traffic. You want to bring in traffic. That's what you want to do.
Same thing.
Okay.
They stop. They get hungry, Avi.
I definitely don't want to stop traffic. Sure.
We want to stop traffic at Greater Chicago, and now they want a burger because they saw killer chili on the.
Stop right there and pull in, but that's another.
So
story.
I'm sorry. So you want, all right, you want lights to string across the sides, like along the blocks, like that, like from pole.
Yeah, I think if we go side to side, we don't have an issue with the city, and let's do some sort of design from side to side rather than just wrapping poles again. I guess we can call Scott. He does holiday lighting. He can come up with something creative.
I like it. Let's do it.
That way
can you clarify?
I think lights are great.
You're not talking across the street, right? Because we can't.
Not across the street. We can't do across the street, but we can go side to side from one small pole to the other, and the small poles are the ones that have the electric.
Just to clarify,
one small pole and hang something in between them? Is that what you're
Either hang in between, or we do some nice big, something designed. We can do a moon and a star, or you can do a snowflake. You can do, the Dia thing we made last time that we never did anything with. Something that'll bring us a different type of attention, or something that. And if we do murals and lights together, I think it'll be a nice attraction to bring people to Devon.
I like the murals too.
So let's just combine B and C here. Let's do lights that end up at a mural.
Oh, like arrows?
Whatever. Just some design that kind of leads you, wow, look at this mural. And
well, yeah, sure.
All right. So Cindy, can we reach out to Scott and say we want something new? We want something, that stops people. Or
he told me he was going to be back around the 1st. And I was already planning to reach out to him then, because we're working on our orders for Howard Street as well. Because, and one thing to keep in mind here, because of the, various, material shortages and logistical challenges with this and a lot of other products, there is a lot more lead time on projects like this than there would be in normal non-COVID times. So time is kind of the essence as to getting something moving. But I am going to
let's get a design and murals going. I mean, summer's already here, so let's just keep pushing, I guess, is the right way to say it.
So if we want to move on to the select mural designs topic, I was really hopeful that I was going to have drafts from Ramon Static for this meeting. I do not have them yet. I called him last week and I haven't heard back from him yet. I'll be calling him again after this meeting. But I don't have draft designs yet. He's supposed to be preparing us 3.
Okay. Can you, whenever you get them, just send an email out and we'll schedule a meeting with the normal time in between just to get this started.
Because my hope with having him do 3 is that, we can pick one of the 3 and do that on one of the walls that were selected. Or if we like more than one, we can have him do 2 potentially, because we do have budget for that in the 2021 budget.
I know Jay had given you 2 names also. Did you ever reach out to those people? And guys, let me know if I'm talking too much.
Not yet, because we have already, made arrangements with Static for him to do design development for us. He's just not ready yet. So I will be following up with him. But I'll happily reach out to Scott's guy too, who I think was the same person who did the mural at Par Birdie, or the signage there.
Right. Yeah. If this guy's too busy, maybe we need to just jump to the next.
Yeah, and then the other guy, Thomas Melvin, he didn't get back to me. I think he's pretty booked up for the summer too. And his price points were, I think, a good bit higher as well. But any other questions
right, so,
on murals before we move to pigeon abatement?
No, keep going.
So,
Hi, everyone. It's Deborah. I just wanted you to know I'm done with my committee, so I'm on now.
hello.
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 On the pigeon abatement front, I did secure another estimate from another exterminator. The second gentleman, Mike, that I think Pete had said that you'd been using for some of his buildings. He has a flat rate of $5,000 per building, and he has offered us a 2 to 3 year guarantee on that. So the question that I wanted to put to the committee on pigeon abatement, we've gotten a couple different quotes and proposals now. I do want to get this moving for buildings where we know that it's a problem. The question then for you all is whether we want to make pigeon abatement a 50% funding thing like we do for BIP, or whether we want to make it a 100% funding program as its own thing, like as we've done with sign removal and cameras in the past. Because of the nature of the pigeon issue is that, you know, you treat one building, but it has potential to affect neighboring buildings. You know, it's maybe more warranted for that to be 100% than 50, but I wanted to defer to the judgment of the commissioners on how to spend that money and those dollars. But I do want to get something moving because it continues to be a problem. Particularly,
Cindy, can we identify a couple of the more problematic buildings and maybe have a meeting with that owner and see if he's willing to go 50-50? I think that'll make it easier.
Yeah, so the gentleman at that owns the corner building there at Richmond and Devon, I have spoken with him. I think he's definitely willing to negotiate on that. Obviously, 100% would be preferable, but I think 50% too would also be a pretty welcome step forward. I know Ellen there from Jewish Neighborhood Development Council has been in contact with the tenants in that building as well, because they've been really kind of dealing with a lot of the cleanup. So maybe there's an opportunity to partner there with them as well. But they consistently seem to be, about around that $5,000-ish range per building. The nice thing about the latest vendor that I got the quote from is that he provides a guarantee, whereas the other ones, it seems that doesn't quite seem to be there, or that it needs to be, maintenance treatments annually or whatever. So actually the bait one.
Can you forward that proposal just so we get an idea of what he's actually doing?
Yeah, so I'll forward around the one from Smithereen, and then Pete, your guy hadn't sent me anything in writing yet. I traded emails with him Wednesday of last week, but he hasn't.
He'll get it. He's kind of nutty. He'll get it to you eventually.
Okay. Whoops. Let me stop screen sharing for a second so I can send around the Smithereen quote.
Is the $5,000 per building the going rate?
It seems to be based on the quote, the conversations that I've had so far, because there's multiple things that they've got to do and that they recommend. So, the one building at Devon and Richmond, they've already got spikes. They've tried the fake owl. The building is still covered in pigeons. They've gotten wise. So there's different tacks they can take. There's bait they can use.
If I may interrupt, I'm actually working with him right now on a pigeon problem. Why don't I let you know how it goes and report back to you? Because it is a lot of money, and I'd rather we investigate this a little more.
Where are you getting it done, Pete? And how long has it been? On Devon?
Well, the treatment is you put it, yeah. It should handle a whole flock, and sometimes the flock, as Cindy said, occupies several buildings. So.
And the question is, do they, when you stop them from sitting on one building, will they go to the next building and next building?
Well, yes and no. Depends how, yeah. I mean, they can, sure. I mean,
so
this is what I've been told. I'm no expert.
For the whole neighborhood, we have to get an estimate to do the whole block, or one building will make a difference.
Well, that's what I think. You know, you don't have to do it every building. You could do like a couple a block or something. And then, but I don't know though, because like I said, I'm new to this. So right now what he's doing is he's feeding the pigeons so they all come to one spot. So for like 3 weeks, they actually feed them. So they're baiting them to bring them to one spot and that they're comfortable eating there. Once they're there for a little bit, then he puts the chemical there and they go away.
They go away means he kills them or what?
No, they actually, it freaks them out. It makes them crazy and they leave.
Okay.
So he's not killing any of them.
No, at least that's not what I read. So.
I just want to mention something on that spot at Devon and Richmond that you were talking about. So that has been a problem over there because there's somebody that is feeding them constantly. You'll notice we've already put signs up to say, you know, don't feed the pigeons. So that's probably why it's such a problem there. You know, we need to find that person that's feeding them.
I did just send around the one quote from Smithereen. I'm going to find the other one and that'll be a separate email. But I think, you know, we should set forth some sort of, you know, baseline of, you know, what are we willing to do and make it a program like we do for BIP and for sign removals and everything else. So that, you know, when we have a building that's having these problems, you know, there's a procedure in place that we can actually take action on it rather than, I think this is the 5th or 6th meeting where this has been on the agenda.
All right. My suggestion, sorry, Cindy, cut you off, is let's see what Pete has to say by next meeting. I can't propose somebody else take over this, but 5 buildings that are in desperate need. We do a trial run after Pete says this works. That's $25,000 pigeon abatement, and somebody else make the proposal since I can't, is my suggestion. If somebody agrees with it, they can make
the reason, and you're right, Cindy, everything we do takes forever. But in this case, exterminators are real iffy, you know, so I don't want to just throw our money after this.
Next meeting, Pete, that's not enough time?
No, but I'm letting Cindy know how I feel about that. So that's kind of the way I look at it. And yeah, to your point though, you're right. We should move quicker on things. So.
So it's 25,000 for this pigeon abatement program?
You got to speak up, Jay. Can't hear you.
I said it's 25,000 for the pigeon abatement program?
My suggestion is let's give Pete a couple of weeks to see how it works out, and then we start it, you know, in the June meeting and say the first or the 5 places we identified as the worst in the neighborhood, see what it does. But like Avi said, what if it just goes across to the next building? And now what are you going to keep paying till they get out of our SSA? I mean, is that the plan?
That's ridiculous. I think like the alderman said, the biggest problem is the people feeding them. I just caught one of my neighbors today. He was throwing out his
What are you going to do about that, man? You're going to stop? I've been chasing people from that for years. That doesn't, you know,
I mean,
what are you going to do about it?
You do the abatement stuff and then these guys keep throwing this. I mean, I don't know.
And there's no way we can have enforcement of, you know, maybe tickets or something, the police or somebody can give, or maybe the question for the alderman.
Yeah, they can't enforce it if they can't see it. That's the problem.
So if I catch the guy, I call the cops and hold him there till somebody shows up.
I'm not sure that's going to work, your shot.
All right.
So what, the police have to catch him in the action?
Yes.
Yeah, and actually get out of their cars and either detain them or write a ticket, which I don't know that they're gonna do. I just don't feel like it's an enforcement priority for CPT right now.
So are we in agreement then that we're gonna wait till find out what this guy does before we make a decision on this? And I'm sorry again, Cindy.
Yeah, let's set a drop dead deadline next meeting. Yes or no, decide.
Okay, fine.
Cindy, that's fine?
All right, I'll keep it on the agenda for next meeting.
Anyone else?
I think everybody's sleeping on Monday. Drink some coffee.
I heard about
we're
a
over
program
here.
that they use trained predatory birds like hawks and stuff that actually scares them away or something like that. Has anybody heard of that?
No, that could be cool. We can actually videotape it and then market it on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like I tried to Google something about this. Like, as I know that there are outfits that do, like, that have dogs to chase geese away, but I've not found anything about like hawks or falcons.
Oh, and let's bring goats to mow the lawns too.
Okay, now you're just being silly. I meant to be serious about this. That there is such a thing that these birds, these hawks or falcons, they're not crazy big birds that they will attack humans, but they do prey on these birds or mice or rats. Actually, let's go for a rat program too, because we have Devon has major rat issues, so it wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah.
All right, so we're pushing this to next meeting. Last item under old business, social media. Just wanted to give a quick update. We've been releasing the videos that have been created by Big Buzz, sort of in place of last year's on Devon and Devon's Got Talent festivals. We are still looking for a couple more businesses to round out the 30 on the list. So if you know of anybody that might be interested, definitely, put me and put Brad in touch with him, because he is looking to do a couple more this week. He said he'd had a couple people like stand him up, where he thought, that he'd scheduled to do filming and then they had to bail last minute or
Cindy,
whatever.
can we schedule a time to just walk into businesses and do this on the spot? I think that'll be much easier for Devon. Your appointment thing's not going to work.
Because he was looking to do the last couple of videos this week because the engagement was supposed to run through this month. So let's get the three of us, Urshad, on an email chain, and we'll see if there's a day this week that we can walk around and do it.
Yeah, I'll get it done if you can get him out there.
All right. New business. So 2022 preliminary budget discussion. I had put 10 minutes here for this because this sort of touches on like all the things that we've been discussing this whole meeting. We do have to start preparing draft budgets to hand into the city in early June. So the way that the process, has typically been handled in the past is that, we, as part of a commissioner meeting, open up for discussion as to like, what's working well, what do we want to see more of, what do we want to see less of, as we put together our budget for next year. So I'll open that up to folks too. And Sandy, if there's anything that you want to add, the biggest sort of category for us as an SSA has always been the public way aesthetics line item. This year has been no exception, because that's where we do our landscaping, our snow removal, litter pickup, which we did cut back on the scope of our litter pickup contract in 2020. So we're at only 6 days a week now. We're not doing the 2-a-days anymore. Are we okay with that, or do we want to ramp it back up? I'll just open it up. Whoever's got thoughts to share on budget.
Since it came up earlier, and maybe it isn't, maybe it's something we could discuss further because it's relevant to our earlier topic. Maybe we can have a line item that is involved with charity. for future, not specific to this one. I don't know. I'm just saying that if it's written in there, then maybe that makes it, I suppose there's a lot of hoops to jump through, but anyway, just throw that out there.
So Pete, we do have in other SSAs, and I think it might be in this one too. We do like make donations to nonprofit organizations within the SSA, but it's usually as like a sponsorship is what we normally have, right?
Yeah,
Like we've done
events.
in the past with the Westridge Chamber and those kind of things.
I see.
So we do have precedent for it.
I see.
Yeah, and what we did last year, Pete, with the meal program where they're ordering catering for first responders, we repurposed the funding there from our economic development category, and made it like a COVID response one. And the city during budget season last year, basically created the option of a COVID response line item in the budget template that was handed out. So we sort of kept it there.
My big question
there is some sort of precedent then. I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry, Pete. Was there anything else about that? I was changing the subject. My big question for you all is snow removal. Do you want to continue to spend the kind of money that we're spending on snow removal?
Not with that company.
Well, with any, so if you remember last year, we only got we had an RFP out, we only got 2 quotes.
That was Howard Street. That wasn't this group.
2 years ago.
The trouble that we had with Devon 43 was that I think the prior program manager signed a 3-year contract with Tovar before leaving, and we are entering year 3 of that 3-year agreement. And that contract that we're on the hook for had a blizzard clause that increased the prices pretty dramatically for the kind of snowfall that we had this past season. So, if we are to continue doing snow, we may want to continue, we may need to increase that budget because it was a much bigger chunk of the public way aesthetics, category than I think we expected it to be.
Can I suggest something? I don't know if we can or can't, but can we, as businesses on Devon, hire our own contractors and work out some sort of rebate or reimbursement program at the end of the year? So then each store owner, each block can be responsible for getting theirs cleaned up, because half of us go out there and clean anyways.
Yeah, good idea.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any other SSAs that do it that way. I've heard of other groups where they just buy salt in bulk and every business gets a sack of salt.
Yeah, let's give people salt and have each person clean up their own areas. I mean, everybody has employees.
The number one reason I joined this SSA is for snow removal.
and that's the concern that I've heard from, talking with a lot of other SSA managers, is that it's one of the most visible programs that SSAs do. So
we just can't seem to find the right contractor. I think we need to find somebody locally.
And every other SSA manager that I've talked to has the same problem if they're doing snow removal, just like the inconsistent, performance of the handful of snow contractors out there that bid these things. No one's thrilled.
Sydney, doesn't our landscaper offer snow removal?
Not currently. They got out of the snow removal business, as did Clean Slate and Clean Street. We had been, I think, using Clean Street on Howard before, and they announced in August of last year, after everyone had done their RFPs, that they were no longer doing snow. So we had to scramble and do a last minute RFP for that one, which, because it's so late in the season, we only got one bid, and it's a company that's even worse. So it's, yeah.
Wait, you're telling me we're stuck with these guys?
It seems that way. I'm not sure about it either.
He was okay with if we had an issue. I remember Jay and I had a deep discussion with this guy about, if we don't like your service, he goes, we'll cancel if you guys aren't happy with us. He goes, we will not give you a problem.
Okay, well, that's good to hear. But yeah, because if we are going to RFP it, we need to do that in June, because they are doing these contracts pretty far.
Can you try to find somebody local within 5 miles or 10 miles of the SSA that you know, hey, we're going to give you a solid contract, solid money, and maybe we'll do some sort of guarantee that if it doesn't snow, we're still going to give you this much, and have somebody dedicated to our area. I think it makes a big difference to have the streets cleaned.
The closest one is Patch, and they seem to not be bidding new snow contracts.
Sidewalks, we need bodies.
Because
Do
every
you
time that
have
we've
any
done them,
referrals for us?
yeah.
Happy to reach out to people if you have referrals.
I'm going to call my maintenance guys and see who we used and see maybe there's somebody that'll, because the money's got to be better than going around doing multiple places where you're down one street. So I'm going to try to reach out, and hopefully we can get, I would say next meeting or the meeting after, if anybody else can find somebody and get some recommendations in.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely open to reaching out and speaking to additional vendors for sure. But my experience has been that there hasn't been a lot of interest in contracts of this size. It's too big for a lot of contractors. I have heard of other SSAs splitting up their SSAs into zones that they bid out separately. So maybe that's something that we look to do.
Since we're on the topic, I don't want to go off, but what happened with our power washing?
So that we rolled into the Clean Slate contract. So it's part of our annual agreement with them because they were more competitively priced than the dedicated power washing companies. So they did the spring one a couple weeks back. So they came through already. We have 2 more this year. So probably a midsummer and an end of summer one, unless we want to spread them out more. But we put in the contract, I think 3 or 4 per year.
Yeah, if we can get pictures of the last one, if they're doing a good job, I'd suggest maybe increasing that so we can clean up. I think the more we clean up, the more we get rid of the rats, as well as hopefully some pigeons.
Yeah, and the pigeon mess. I mean, I think that was part of the reason why there was interest in starting, adding on more power washing, because some of the sidewalks are kind of caked in it a little bit. But I do have pictures from their last visit. I thought I had already shared them with the group, but I will send those around again. And then if we, part of the reason that I did want to, tee up, pigeon abatement discussion is, do we want to have a line item in public way aesthetics for a dedicated pigeon program of some sort?
Yes.
Because now would be the time to put that in our budget.
Yes, we do.
And if I can ask, if we can get every SSA member to come up with a couple of items that they want to see done before the end of the year, that would improve Devon Avenue and bring people there, whether it's more planters, whether it's more seating, something to improve Devon. We got murals, we got seating, we got lights. Come up with something else.
I think we have a festival of the whole street and get about 500 of those Winsaki guys and just line the street up with them. That'll be hilarious.
Yeah, come up with something. I mean, we meet once a month. You guys, 2 items.
That was a good idea.
Have some music festivals on Devon.
Yeah,
with COVID.
Yeah.
Right, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say too, I invited Larissa to join us today. I haven't heard back from her. But Westridge Chamber just got one of the Chicago Alfresco grants to do some sort of pop-up plazas on side streets. We were not aware of the proposal or anything until it was announced that that they were selected. They were one of less than a half a dozen Northside organizations that were. We don't have any kind of timeline or specifics as to what that's going to really entail. But maybe that's an opportunity to work with Westridge. They have shared that they are not doing On Devon Festival this year or next, because that had been one of the things that we had provided some sponsorship dollars for in the past, but it won't be happening. Sandy and I had also discussed, I think Urshad had mentioned the idea of doing additional planners. We don't currently have planter pots on Western or the areas of Devon that are east of where the streetscape was done. So that's something where we might, look to add some additional planting areas and sort of beef up our landscaping a little.
They are going to be out this week, by the way, doing the summer planting rotations. And I did tell our contractor yet again, do not do tulips because they get vandalized. And he said that it, you know, I guess the folks that were out putting plants in the ground sort of missed that memo. So this year, you know, I told him to put it in the notes, no tulips, because they grow legs and walk away.
So Cindy, can I just add to the conversation about the additional planters? If you remember correctly, this was maybe 3 years ago, right after we took over the SSA and they were finishing the streetscape. We had talked about waiting because there were the 5 different sections of the streetscape and waiting until everything was done and then to see what we could add. And so we talked about adding planters. I think like over by Levitt and that area over there, there's like one planter, one of those big planters on each of the corners in a variety of places. But, you know, further east of there are none because they were installed for part of the streetscape. So there are areas of the SSA that were not in the streetscape, so they don't have the planters. So if you're interested in adding more planters for we can add that to the budget for next year, the planters and then the increase in the landscaping.
Can we add more plants in the little boxes behind the planters? Because I think that'll stop the garbage from going in if we have an excess amount of plants growing in there.
What are the little boxes?
In the in-ground planters, you mean?
Yes, the in-ground planters.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we can put
something maybe
perennials.
taller that people stop throwing garbage in there.
Or I'm sorry, perennials. We want them, yes.
Can we sell plants on Devon? Like we can invite any vendor and he can sell plants for $5 plant for $2 and we can compensate the deficit. Can we do that? I mean, can we do this kind of thing?
Are you saying do it ourselves, buy plants and do it ourselves?
No. Like invite some vendor, he can sell plants on Devon. People, they are stealing plants from the planters. So why not we sell plants and then for a low price? Suppose if a plant is $5 and we can sell for $2. He can sell for $2 and $3 we will compensate. SSA can compensate. Can we do some kind of thing? This kind of?
So I think what we do is if somebody, you know, takes plants out of our planters, we want them replaced with the same plants that came out of there so that it all.
No, that's not my question. My question is, can we invite?
We cannot, Sunita, we cannot accept money.
No. We are not accepting money. We are giving money. Like just bring some activity to the Devon. So suppose a vendor comes and he's selling plants to the people. Selling, not giving free. But one plant cost is $5 and he can give for $2. People will definitely buy. And $3 for each plant, we can compensate. SSA can give that money.
She's saying to subsidize it.
What's that?
Oh, okay, I got it. She's saying subsidize it. Absolutely, yeah.
Like,
how does that benefit the SSA?
They won't steal from the planters.
No,
that's what she's saying.
This is not for the benefit of SSA, it's for the benefit of Devon people. Like bring some activity to the Devon. Next week,
our job is to make Devon look better and spend money on Devon. If people are stealing plants, it's unfortunate. I don't think that's a solution. But that's just my thought. You have a great idea. I think we just need to put it in a different context. Maybe if we ever did farmers markets again, we have a plant vendor that sells them cheap. That would make sense. But you know, I don't know how this would work with us.
Yeah, bring some next week. We can bring a balloon guy who can sell balloons, like just to have some fun on Devon, some activity. Or maybe a music festival like we did last time, 2 years ago.
Yeah, but no clowns. I don't want any clowns.
I was going to suggest clowns. I think we should have clowns up and down Devon.
Well, we already do, don't we?
Listen,
Yeah, we do.
I still like my windsock idea. It can be international. We can dress every windsock as a different person.
Oh God!
They can be art projects. They can be
if you guys want, we can do a parade. All right, we're getting really off topic now, by the way. So, I'm game with additional planters if anybody else wants to, add that for next year's budget. I think maybe do a lot more.
Yes.
I agree.
That sounds good. Yeah. So we'll get some numbers and put that in the draft, which we'll be able to share with folks at that next meeting in June, because we are working on draft budgets now. So appreciate the feedback. We'll beef up landscaping, and maybe.
Can we have can we have a walk around with the landscaping guy and go over what more we'd like to see, and I'll get a couple commissioners to come out with us. I think I will.
Yeah, I'll reach out to him. He's usually pretty responsive. I talked to him Friday.
Okay, yeah, let me know. And then I guess I've been getting a lot of requests for Devon's Got Talent again ever since things are opening up. So I don't know if anybody else has heard anything.
Yeah, that's next on this agenda is Devon's
Are you
Got Talent.
serious?
Yeah.
I'm serious. I had people ask me, like, hey, what happened? It was so much fun.
Pete, you're muted.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just a little surprised.
Yeah, I had a couple people come up to me on Devon and saying, hey, you guys aren't having any events or anything. What happened at that event at the Croatian Center? There were a couple families and they had kids with them, so I'm assuming they came to the event.
Okay.
I wouldn't mind doing it outdoor. I know Big Buzz was against it, but maybe the parking lot and we get a bunch of clowns.
No, I already told you, no clowns.
Yeah,
if you guys want to discuss that, if you guys want to try that again people want to get out, Pete. So, having a little carnival or
Are you talking about the clown issue?
No, not the clown. I'm just saying having some sort of outdoor event so people can get out and see what's going on.
Sure, man, but I don't know. I'm not convinced that much about those. But I do like the idea that Sunita brought up about just hiring people to wander around Devon and whatever, just entertain children with balloons or whatnot, or some musicians or dancers or something.
Yeah, but how do we need to promote something like that? That, hey, on Saturdays we have, people walk around Devon passing out free stuff from the SSA and, picture day maybe, and have pictures by a mural and flower pots, or just do an event at Republic Bank. I'm saying we should organize an event or make it, we got to plan it now before it gets, during the warmer season.
Okay.
Yeah, we do have budget in the 2021 fiscal year budget. I think we've got 75 or 76,000 in the special event category. I don't believe that we've spent any of it yet, because we didn't know whether On Devon Fest or Devon's Got Talent were going to be happening this year due to COVID. We now know that On Devon Fest is not happening, but that Westridge Chamber did get some funding to do some of these, pop-up public plaza event things at some point this summer, but we don't have a timeline or a whole lot of information about what that's going to look like. But there's definitely a lot of interest in doing some sort of event. It's just a question of, what is it? And then how do we handle the logistics?
I thought that the trolleys was a huge success. I don't know if we can somehow bring that back with whatever we incorporate, and that's outside.
Yeah, I would definitely suggest an outdoor event this year.
So just 10th of July or 17th of July, either weekend, we can have a program on this Republic Bank parking lot. And the same weekend, we can have that trolley, because trolley was a huge success. People like that. So we can combine both events together. The musical program in parking lot and trolley.
I wasn't so convinced with the trolley, but whatever.
The date might be kind of soon. Maybe look just too soon to get ready for. That's all. But if you guys want to pick a few dates, and then we can see if the lot's available, plus get an idea of what we want to do. Are the Sandy, any other SSAs doing anything this year? You guys always have stuff going on Howard and the other place.
So we're doing our virtual Chalk Fest again. We're not doing an outdoor festival on Howard Street. We're gonna invite people to come if they want to see the chalk art being done, but it's not going to be on the street. It's going to be videotaped like it was last year and done on paper, not on the sidewalk. We are doing our taco crawl. So SSA, the Clark Morris Glenwood SSA is doing a taco crawl this year. But again, it's not a festival. It's where you go from place to place to place and we're able to be a bit socially distant. And nothing on Sheridan Road. So we're not doing any quote unquote festivals this year.
Can we do a chalk fest in the parking lot? Is that what do you think Republic Bank would allow that? That seemed very interesting last time.
I don't think that the Howard Street SSA Commission would appreciate that.
Yeah, I think they'd get annoyed if we tried to sort of copycat that in another district.
We'll just add clowns to the event. Clowns and chalk.
Dude,
I missed the memo about the clown thing.
Pete just doesn't like clowns.
I think we should take a vote.
I'm not kidding. I don't care.
Pete, you're muted again.
The windsock guy. I'm telling you, that's hilarious.
Well, send us a link to it so we all know what you're talking about.
Well, those wacky windsocky guys.
Can we have a shoot a pigeon day?
Pigeon hunt.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, give BB guns to
all right,
everyone.
guys. But so I guess instead of Devon's Got Talent, let's come up with some event and some preliminary dates to have something outdoors. My suggestion, if anybody else has anything before next meeting, some sort of event to bring everybody back out.
Yeah. And that is something that, you know, we could potentially involve Big Buzz in again, because Brad has been asking me, what we're looking to do and whether, you know, on Devon might or Devon's Got Talent might be back on the table for this year. You know, he even said that like some of the late October, early November dates that we'd, you know, historically done it, those dates are open on their end again. I don't know if we want to do something that late. It sounds like we'd want to go earlier if we're trying to do something outdoors.
Okay, let's decide by next meeting, guys. Pick dates and let's see if we got an agenda into place. What's left?
I put an item on here for BIPs, but I didn't get any applications on time, so we don't have any BIPs to consider. I do have a few that are sort of contemplating applications. One from jewelry and watch repair shop, kind of over there by you, Junaid, if you're still on the call, across the street. And then Coltooth had been looking at doing indoor security grate and potentially a new awning, but they've sort of backed off on that. Their chief concern remains the pigeon abatement issue still. And then All American Medical Supply has been in touch about signage, but nobody has submitted any applications for this meeting. But I expect that we should have probably at least one next time.
I have a question. Is the parking lot repair part of the BIP or not?
Not like the paved lot or landscaping. What kind of work are you looking to do, Avi?
They have a lot of like potholes and stuff.
Just put some planters in there, Avi, we'll cover it.
Okay, why don't you come and teach me?
We'll talk offline if there's other stuff that you're looking to do.
Okay.
But yeah. So yeah, like I'm still sort of waiting for updates from Westridge Chamber as to what their whole pop-up plaza project is gonna be or entail. I don't know if Larissa's been in touch with any of you all. The city's press release, I'd heard of it, but I'm intrigued. And that's really kind of all I've got. So I know Sandy, you were trying to get to the BCAP meeting. Oh, she's already on it. All right, well done.
Somebody motion adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right.
All right, second.
All right, guys, thanks. Everybody try to come up with a couple items for next meeting, please, that we can finish before the end of the year.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks.
everybody.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.